Welcome to Direct Dinner Podcast. I am your host, Sophia. Welcome to the show. I am so excited to be filming right now. It's been so hard for me to film lately. Oh my gosh, I just have not been feeling well these past, like, 10 weeks, 9 weeks of my life. It's been very, very rough, very, very hard. I am so happy to be back. As you can see, I am not in my office that I love so much. I am in my boring guest room. Do not judge my boring guest room, okay? We've been living here for over 2 years now, and the guest room is like, we keep it clean and tidy, like just in case guests come. In the past year, we've been working on it. Because before that, in the first year, our guest room became our like extra big closet to store everything as we're like getting our house in order. So now our guest room always has clean sheets. Well, I'm sitting on it. So sorry for next person. I sat my butt where you might put your head. I might have to clean the sheets because I'm just sitting on your bed. So like, yeah, the guest room is like the last room to be like not renovated because we're not renovated jack nothing, okay? It's a house and it works and that's all I care about. So, it's just like we just need to fix it up. I mean, this blind literally insults me. I hate this thing. If anyone ever tries to open this blind, the whole thing comes crashing down. It has scared a few guests. And it's practically made out of paper. And not even like the nice, like, blinds that you'll see in like Far East Asia, like in Japan or anything where it's like beautiful paper. No, this is like, I shouldn't be touching it because this whole operation could come crashing down. The camera's already shaking because we're on a bed. I am so sorry. And also you might notice that I look like a hot mess. Yeah, my hair is in uneven pigtails that I sleep in. It is still very wet from yesterday because it's been so moist in Indiana. Like y'all in the Midwest, like it's been moist this week. Like it's been so wet. It's been raining for 2 weeks. And I have thick curly hair. And the only way my hair can dry is if I diffuse it every time I wash it. Yo, I diffused my hair for about an hour yesterday before I called it quits because I don't want to damage it. And my hair is still wet. Okay, it is still wet. And that's why it's in pigtails because I'm hoping that I can like dry the inside by exposing it. And I also just sleep like this too, so I just kept it like this. So I am sorry, I don't want to get moldy hair. Because I do wash my hair quite often. So it's like if it just dries and then I wet it all again before it's like completely 100% dry, I'm going to get mold. So yes. How did this turn into moldy hair and like my bedroom podcast? This is a knitting podcast, but this episode will not be about knitting. I am sorry. I'm just going to talk about just giving y'all such a big thank you. Because these past few weeks of my life has been very, very rough. Emotionally and physically, and I'm gonna just come out with it and say, for those who don't know, I'm pregnant, and I have just entered my second trimester, and finally I am feeling like a human being. For those who have never been pregnant or never experienced morning sickness, or if you just had like a like beautiful like unicorn first trimester where you were just a little bit tired and just wanted to eat ice cream all day, like my first trimester was literally like hell on wheels. Like it's just been, it was very, very, very hard. And for those who know me or who's been on my channel for a while, I was pregnant last year and I miscarried quite early, but it was a missed miscarriage, so I didn't know I miscarried until I was about to enter my second trimester. I was like 2 weeks away from my second trimester and from telling everybody. So, or rather, no, I was like 3 weeks away. So I was still a bit away, but I was planning on telling everyone at like 12 weeks. But I found out I miscarried at like 10 weeks, or 9 weeks or something. I don't know. But I've been pregnant before, but because I had miscarried and because the pregnancy pretty much ended at 7 weeks, even though I didn't know it. I did not, what I'm trying to get at here in a very long-winded way is that I did not feel as much as the symptoms that I did not feel the symptoms that I feel now to the extent that I'm feeling them, just because my hormone levels were so low. Probably just dropping from what they should have been. You get what I'm trying to say? Now that my hormone levels are where they're supposed to be, in fact, they started off pretty high, because a lot of times after you miscarry and then you get pregnant again, your hormone levels can be much higher than usual, just because your body is just trying to, like, almost like overcorrect, or it's like it just had been pregnant, so your body is like, okay, I know what to do, we're gonna overload your hormones. And because of that, my whole pregnancy has been insane. I'm very, very happy though that I am healthy, and my doctor is like, everything is really great, and I'm very happy about that. But all of that came at a price of not being able to do my job every day. And it's really hard to explain to people, like, because I knit for a living, I design for a living. I don't have a boss. I am my boss. And it's very hard to explain to people that, like, when you have a job like I do, like, they don't think a lot goes into it. And it's very hard to say, look, I just can't work today, And, you know, to me, I felt like, it's just knitting. Like, why can't I do this? Even though I feel really sick, I felt like I should be able to knit still and get these deadlines done and get everything done. And I just couldn't. And the reason being was that, like, when I knit, my whole body is like moving, like, it's very small movements, but it's just enough to trigger my motion sickness. Which, no. And I got motion sick before pregnancy. Phew, now that I'm pregnant, motion sickness is at a straight 10, y'all. 10. 10, 10, 10. So knitting triggers it. Typing triggers it. Everything where I'm moving triggers it. Essentially, I have to be very still, or had to be. And it was very hard for me to get up and film, especially because I film twice a week. I like to film it during the week. Like, I don't like to do so many things in advance, because then if something were to pop up that week, then I would be like irrelevant. Then it'll be like irrelevant, you know what I mean? So I try to film about a day or two before I post. That has not been easy for me to do, because a lot of times I'm just too sick. In fact, the reason why I'm even in here in my guest room and out of my office is because we had to remove the litter box out of the guest room and put it in my office, because we were expecting a guest to stay in here, and I just couldn't. There's just the litter box in my office makes me gag. My office is very small. It's very stuffy. The window doesn't work too well. Like, it opens, but there's no screen, and we got pets, so it's just not safe for them to have the window open, have the door closed, which then everyone's clawing at the door, so all you hear is clawing and meowing and barking. And so I just had to compromise. I'm like, I'm just gonna film in my dusty looking guest room, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's okay, because you know what, we're getting through it. And yeah, and I just want to come on here and thank everybody for just being patient with me. I haven't been able to work to the way I would like to. Usually my day is very much like a regular work day. I start at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I do end a little early at 4 o'clock, but then I knit for the rest of the day. And so I do administration work during the day, and then all throughout the night till I go to sleep, I'm knitting and working on projects. And I haven't had that luxury to do that. And it's been really hard to tell myself that that's okay, to step back and to just, take a breather. Fortunately, that breather lasted much longer than I would hope for. But I'm very happy that I'm at the other side now, after about roughly 2.5 months of going through morning sickness. My morning sickness started at 5 weeks. 5 weeks. It just slowly trickled on and on and on until it just peaked at like 10 weeks. I've been throwing up every day for the past week until today. Today was the first day where I felt, sick, but not that sick. And as a result of being sick every day for the past week, my heartburn has been so bad. You're already pregnant, you already have heartburn. But because you're, getting sick, that just messes with your esophagus, and then, you have heartburn. So this past week, I haven't been able to even sleep in my bed. I've been sleeping on my recliner couch for a few days, and yesterday was the first time where I slept in my bed, and it's just amazing. And all that just plays a toll on my work, not just getting a full night's sleep. So yeah, it's just been a hard time. And on top of that, the anniversary of my miscarriage is around this time. So I just been pulling back from everybody and everything, and just trying to process everything the best way that we can as a family. But yeah, but other than that, I just feel very happy to be healthy, and I just feel really great. And great in the sense of that things are going the way that they should right now. So yeah, that's great. And I also want to come on here and tell everyone that, it's okay to step back from things if you're not feeling well. Because my first pregnancy, I was working, I had a regular job, and so everyone expected me to still work at the level that I was working at. And even though I wasn't as bad as I am now, because the pregnancy wasn't viable, so I wasn't nearly as hormonal as I am now. Because of that, I still struggled with getting my job done. I still struggled with it. It was still very hard. And I felt like people expect you sometimes to still work at your 10, even though you're really feeling like a 5. And it's like, we definitely have this culture of, if you're pregnant, you still gotta act like you're not pregnant. You gotta be perfect, because there are people who are pregnant and are able to go through their day and be perfectly fine. Those people are lucky, 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 because a lot of us can't do that. A lot of us go through something very difficult, especially during the first trimester. And I just want everyone to remember that we all have different experiences. We're all going through different things. Like, also another hard thing I had to go through with both pregnancies is that I had to stop taking medication that I relied on. So not only am I feeling nauseous and tired and heartburny and just, or like emotional, I'm also had to stop taking medication that I depend on to get through my day every day. So on top of that, there's a lot more going on versus someone who came in to their pregnancy without needing a medication, or their medication is already approved for pregnancy and they already just, feel fine. You may have these two different women with two different experiences working at the same place. And then the one woman who feels like crud and the other woman feels kind of like crud but is okay is constantly being pitted against the other women and being like, oh, this one works just fine, but you're not, like, why are you complaining about being pregnant? Why are you complaining about, not feeling well? Why are you calling out for throwing up? Like, it's just like, there's a stigma here. I hope I'm making sense. There's like a stigma here that, if your experience doesn't match what someone else's experience is, then then your experience becomes invalid. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? I feel like I'm being really long-winded. I'm getting kind of out of breath from talking, but yeah, like, that's why I just feel really lucky to work in this industry with people who are not afraid to admit, yeah, this sucks and it's all right. It sucks and it's okay for you to step back. And I just want to thank everyone who has been really, like, respectful of me stepping back, who have been really caring and just, like, not, like, saying, where are you? Where have you been? And, I just really, really appreciate that. Some people have been a little bit like, where are you? But then others, it's just like, it's okay, come back when you're ready. And so I'm ready. Kinda. I'm getting there. And yeah. So I am pregnant and it is a lot of work. Well, anyway, guys, I am going to leave it at that. And not next week, on Friday, I'm going to have a regular podcast for you guys about talking about knitting and stuff. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all in a few days. Bye.